Welcome, everybody. I am Apostle Dwight Buckner Jr. Welcome to the Overlooked Show, a show that highlights those that have been rejected, those that are coming to the forefront, those that really never got their credit. Welcome to the very first episode. I'm glad to have you. I want to introduce my first guest, Dennis L.A. White.
I've never spoke on this in any interview or any situation, any platform. So I was blackballed in this industry. It became a crazy story. The FBI came, picked us up, questioned us. We was on Dr. Phil, MSNBC. It was a couple years where I couldn't get any work in LA.
Wow.
Agency dropped me. Calls stopped coming in. Death threats. I have death threats of my family.
Oh, man.
It was a lot. We have here's your mom's address. Here's
death threats?
Yeah. All because of the color of my skin.
Stay tuned. Let's get started. Overlooked. Sometimes things can be unfair. They can be so unfair that at times you can feel overlooked. This is a personal matter to me. I've been overlooked. I've been rejected. But I want to be on a mission to help you to understand your purpose so you never feel overlooked again, that your voice will be heard, and that this will be your season. I am Apostle Dwight Buckner Jr. Tune in. Let's get started. The Overlooked Show. Welcome, my brother, Dennis White. How you doing, man?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Man, I'm so glad you're here today, man. Pleasure to have you. So let me start off the top and ask you this question. What was the specific moment in your life where you realized that acting was your call?
I don't know if there was a turning point. As a kid, I always was doing theater. During Black History Month, I was, doing a Dream Deferred, poetry, and always. So it was something that was part of my existence. I think when I did my first movie called Swimming, and I realized, okay, I can get paid doing this. Other than, plays and things of that nature. I'm like, this is something that I can see as a career.
Yeah.
So that was the first.
How old were you?
I was in my early 20s. Yeah, I think I was like 19, 20 when I did Swimming. Okay. And I shot that in Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How did that do? How did that film do?
It was cool. I was the token. I was the only Black person in it.
Oh, wow.
So it was a experience, and there was a lot of great actors and actresses that was in it. And it was an eye opener. That's the first time I ever learned what SAG was. I didn't even know about SAG, Screen Actors Guild. And it was it gave me a focus, like, okay, this is something that I want to do full time. I still was maneuvering as far as, doing music and doing plays and everything and other things. But that was when I was like, okay, film is something I wouldn't mind doing.
You started out doing music.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
My mom's a gospel music artist.
Okay.
A writer. So.
Oh, yeah. No choice. You didn't have any choice.
Yeah. Growing up in the gospel world, gospel music workshops and stuff like that, recording with them. And it was part of my existence.
Okay. Got it. So as you begin to discover that your purpose and call was in acting, when did you get your first yes from someone major? Your first yes for a major project? And I know the movie was big, but when did you get that yes to that when you were finally like, you know what, this is going to be major?
My first big yes. I think it could have been Fuse when I got my job at Fuse. That was a crazy situation because I was just walking down the street, mind my own business, and this girl walked up to me and was like, "Well, you want to audition for something?" I was like, "Whatever."
Wow.
Like, yeah, come on. So this was in New York, so I went and auditioned. I rapped, I sung. I think I sung "If I Only Had a Brain," like something like that, because I didn't really care. They was like, "Wow," and call back. It's like 1,000 people. They pulled me to the front. I auditioned, and I had another audition. It was like a bunch of steps I had to take to get to it.
Right.
Still not realizing the magnitude of it until I'm on set. You know, we have a live studio audience. We got millions of viewers, and that was my first big yes, I want to say.
Okay, got it. That's when it finally kind of began to take off for you. We realized this is what I'm gonna be doing. I'm in front of several people, hundreds of thousands of people are gonna be watching. My family's
Millions of people.
Millions of people. Millions of people. My family's gonna see me on TV. My life is gonna be out there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So has there been a time in your life where you went to an audition, you put everything you had into an audition, gave it your best, you really wanted this particular role, but you just weren't in the conversations, didn't get a call back. You're just kind of like, man, I just knew that one was my opportunity. That one was mine. That was my moment. But I just never got the response. And here it is. You went with other people that got a bigger response. But when it came to you, it was like, man, I didn't get the response I was intended to have or that I expected to have. You settled with it.
A lot of times. That's part of the business to an extent. You know, you have to realize that it maybe not you. It may be not your time or they don't appreciate what you have. 8 Mile. I was up for the role that Mekhi Phifer got.
Wow.
But that's Mekhi Phifer. So I wasn't. I wanted it, but I also realized that the pecking order of this industry, and so I was like,
explain that a little bit to me. I'm sorry. The pecking order.
Yeah. So there's a website called IMDb. I think it's called Internet Movie Database. It's every movie, every cast, everything. There's a star meter. So it's from 1 to 1 billion, I guess. So everybody has their number as far as where you are in it.
Wow.
So
you get rated based on.
You get rated based off your projects and things of that nature, and it fluctuates. But there's also a pecking order where there's people who have more tenure in and have done bigger things, and they get a better look. You know, when people put projects together, they have a wish list. So they're like, I want Idris, but they can't get Idris, so they'll get Damson Idris, or they'll get, they'll start getting, so there's the pecking order. And so realizing that has given me peace. But it's also, in the beginning, it was very hard because you're like, I know I did what I was supposed to do.
Woo.
I know. Yeah. So that project, The Town with Ben Affleck. Yeah. He came. I had a meeting with him, audition and everything, and it was great. And I didn't get the call for it, and I saw they turned my character to a white guy. Wow. So I was like, "Oh man, I can't play white. I can play a lot of things, but I can't play Caucasian." So you have to. I have to believe that my talent and what I've done was great, and it wasn't me. It just was not me at that time.
Yeah. To add to that, when you talk about the pecking order, I think it also, it's a lot more broader in the sense that people just have their favorites, it's kind of like if your name is hot, everybody likes you, you're kind of out there. They're quick to go with who's hot right now. And what that does for those that have been in the industry a long time is it makes them feel insignificant because we're like, hey, I put in all this time, all this work. I know my gift, I know my craft, I know what God's called me to do, but it's kind of like I'm in line to wait to see if they choose me. And God really had to deal with me about that because at one point in my life, I was like, if they don't invite me, if they don't want me to come in, then maybe I'm not as good. But that has nothing to do with your value. No. That's just a system and an order that they've created. So yeah. But you said you had to learn how to accept that.
Yeah. Well, with my career, there's a lot of things that I won't do.
Woo! Say it again, man.
And my
Say it again.
my most powerful word that I have is the word no. So
Wow.
with that comes, being discarded, being overlooked, being typecasted.
Man, you said it.
So if the journey is longer, but I could wake up in the morning and smile and thank God, that's better. I could look in the mirror and be like, I like myself instead of regrets.
Yeah, you're like me. Integrity. I'm not willing to lower my standard just to fit in, just to get a certain amount of check. That's not me. I'm not going to lose me trying to make you all feel better and do something that you want me to do. In other words, I'm not a puppet.
Yeah.
And oftentimes in life, we find ourselves on the outskirts of circles and of other people because we made decisions not to fit in to their circle. And for that reason, people will ostracize us. And you know this better than I do, but the word blackball, particularly in your industry, has probably happened a lot to you and to other people that haven't been willing to compromise with some of their ideologies and strategies. And I think we know when we're being blackballed.
Yeah.
Like, they must have did something to get in the door.
So I've never spoke on this in any interview or any situation, any platform. So I was blackballed in this industry. And
Wow.
so I talked about my first movie I did in Myrtle Beach, which was a great situation. Myrtle Beach has a great feel for me, but it also has a negative connotation because in 2012, 13, I was going to Myrtle Beach on vacation, and I got the female I was with. She's seen cotton. She never seen cotton before, real cotton.
Right. Wow.
So we pulled over to look at it, take pictures, and we got accosted by the police, handcuffed. It was bad. It was,
she got handcuffed?
She got handcuffed as well.
Wow.
So we both got handcuffed. We both, at the time, we both on major TV series. And so it was really crazy. So when we got back to California, I just kind of wrote down my thoughts. Our assistant took it and she sent it to CNN without us knowing. And it became a crazy story. It was like the number 3 story on CNN.com of all time. So the FBI came, picked us up, questioned us. We was on Dr. Phil, MSNBC, and the show I was on at the time was on NBC. And so,
man,
it was a lot going on. It was Trayvon Martin, it was right after Trayvon Martin.
Right.
There was a lot of stuff. And so after the whole situation, the TV series I was on, they just kind of cut me out of the future episodes.
Wow.
Agency dropped me. Calls stopped coming in. I couldn't work. It was a tough time. And I just, this is something I even told my mom recently in the past 6 months. She never knew this.
Okay.
And I never, cried. I never was on a soapbox. I just fought through it, pressed through. But there was a time where it was a couple of years where I couldn't get any work in LA. I was really, it was tough. It was tough as an actor, knowing that you standing up for yourself was a detriment to your career. But I'll do it every day. I'll do it again if I have to. I do not support police brutality or any racial injustice. And so, but I had to endure those situations. And my pivot was, well, if I can't work in Hollywood, then there's 50 other states that I could work in. Right. So let me go do a movie in Detroit, do a movie in Chicago, New Jersey, North Carolina. Let me go and expand my my reach and enlarge my territory. If this territory right here is not appreciating me, and you can't stop me forever.
Yeah,
you could delay me, but you can't stop me. So I had to have that mentality.
Wow. That brings up something that's very relevant in our generation and culture, is this whole cancel culture concept that if you're not willing to do it our way, or if one thing comes up about you that we don't like, we just gonna cancel your career.
Yeah.
And it really hurts because, for you to have grown as an actor and your career began to take off and one incident happened and they just say, you know what, cancel him. Take him off these episodes. We don't need him. Because remember, it's all about, quote unquote, us looking good. Let's forget about what happens to him. Never knowing how you had to struggle, how you had to look for work in other cities.
Death threats. I have death threats of my family.
Oh, man.
It was a lot. And I'm not a scary dude, so I never shied from any of it. But it was, here's your mom's address. Here's
death threats?
Yeah. A lot.
Lord have mercy.
And
how long did those death threats last?
For about a year. It was about a year, and
every week, every month, every other,
it's just pop up.
Man.
It'd be like, if in the beginning when the whole situation happened, it was constant. And so all because I said something about being, brutalized by the police, or I don't say brutalized, but accosted because of the color of my skin. So, and once again, I never spoken about being blackballed, but I was. Yeah.
Wow. Have you had a chance to run into some of them same actors you used to work with on that show that knew you kind of just got removed from the show, or?
Kinda, but not really. The thing about it is the actors don't know. They're not privy to what's going on.
Okay.
So we shoot the scene, we shoot everything, and then it airs and just not there. And so, I feel like it was whatever the reason was, it'll be all right. I'm still here. Right. You can't stop me. So the whole cancel culture, that's cute. That's cute. But it ain't strong enough. Not for me.
Right.
Especially when you're good. When I walked in good.
Yeah. And shame on those individuals that think that they can cancel somebody's entire career. Because they don't agree with because they don't agree with something that you've done, or something that's happened to you, or something that you spoke out on. That's why I love the Lord, because He has a way of redeeming us, and that which man did to us, God can take us far more higher. In fact, our next step will be the biggest step, and it'll happen without those that tried to blackball us. Amazing. Let's take a break here and come right back and get right into this. This is amazing, man. So, Dennis, there were some moments that we were talking about offline that I want you to share about you being at someone's house and some things you found out about. Yeah.
So Prince, I was at Prince, RIP.
I love Prince, Minnesota.
Amazing. We were with him and at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and he has a show and everything. We were there. Me, him, Marsha Ambrosius, Dougie Fresh, Dave Chappelle, Jonelle Monáe. It was a bunch of us, and Dave just stopped talking. He was like, "You're one of the 21 things a black person can't do. 21 things you can't do while black." Like, what are you talking about? So there's a story about 21 things you can't do while being black, and your story is one of them. I was like, really? I never even heard of this thing. Right. And I looked it up. He showed it to me. He said, that was when I read that. This was before me and Dave even really knew each other. He said it touched him. It was sad. You know, he's like, I can't believe you going on vacation with someone and you looking at cotton as a tourist, you can get handcuffed and, you know, denigrated. And so what that showed me is that my story is bigger than my territory, than what I know.
Yeah.
People watching, people are supporting. In spite of the death threats, those that, and you know, the funny thing about the death threat, there's a lot of those guys that I had banter with. And at the end of the banter, they were like, you know, I'm sorry. You know, you're right. I shouldn't have came at you like that. I didn't know the whole situation. I apologize. A lot of men, and women, a lot of people. There were some that, you know, still stuck, you know, they use that N-word like it's nothing, but you know, there were some that changed their mindset because I'm like, I'm unabashed when it comes to my race, my culture, and who I am.
Wow. Amazing. It's interesting because when I saw you in the movie Notorious.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my intro to you. And so I was thinking from that particular movie, you did such a great job in that movie. I was thinking, hey, man, it's over with. He's about to really be in a bunch of other. What happened after that particular film?
So Notorious was a crazy situation because I heard about the movie. I knew it was casting and I knew the casting director and she came to my acting class and I kind of pressed her for it and I auditioned and I had like 4 or 5 auditions and I booked it. The first day of filming, one of the producers came up to me and said, whispered in my ear and said, "Don't F up."
Wow.
But he didn't know how me and God are connected.
Come on now.
Because that day where he said that at was in front of a building I used to live at. I used to live there.
Wow.
And my ex and my friends that lived in that building were there. And he said that right there. We were on the block. And he said that. And I looked up and someone said, "Dennis," and waved. And I was like, oh, God is with me. Wow. And so that, instead of having me cower, it gave me, I was empowered. I didn't cower, I was empowered. And so at the end of the shoot, he apologized. He said, I didn't want you. I didn't want you for this role. But because I did a movie with Jodie Foster, the studio wanted me. They like, he worked with her in a major studio. We want him in. So people were talking about me outside of that. So with Notorious, it was a great situation. Even with that, it was a lot of, I had a fight. It wasn't just I'm just in there and doing a movie and everything. So I had to actually fight with the publicity people because they didn't want to promote, my character and, me and the guy who played Suge Knight, who we ended up both being on The Family Business. We did a segment on The Basement on BT and she pulled it. Like, it was that type of thing. We did a press junket and I was there and she didn't want me to do any press, but all the media people knew me and Dennis, come on. And it was just that type of thing. And, I feel like I have favor in spite of those. And I feel like sometimes people don't understand that.
Yes. When in 1 Samuel 16, when David is brought out, nobody wants to see him. So God sends a prophet from a completely different town to anoint somebody that they can't stand and to help introduce him as the next king of Israel. And I think oftentimes in life, God will send somebody we least expect to introduce us in front of people that have deliberately disrespected us, that have stepped on us, that said we don't have the ability and the creativity to do what needs to be done, only to find out that man has its favorites, but God has his pick. He has his choice. And when God's hand is on you, he'll put you in front of people that had intentions on destroying your life. I believe this, Dennis. I believe that those that have been overlooked are in a place right now in their life where you're moving into a season where nobody expected you.
Yeah.
So we've experienced highs in life, and we've experienced some of the surprises and things that happen in our careers. But this is a season that we're in particularly where those have been deliberately hurt and bashed and stepped on are going to see this whole redemption piece happen in their life. And it's only by the grace of God. And the fact that he told you that when you're standing there in front of a building that you used to live in was confirmation that I'm supposed to be. And it pushed you to go harder. It pushed you to go further.
Yeah.
And so that's amazing. That's amazing.
I just know that what's for me is for me. And so I'm not deterred. I'm not afraid. I know that the only fear I have is the next was bigger, what's I'm stepping into. 'Cause I know there's something greater. And I have to just let it come. And I don't let anyone else determine my life, regardless of what the power they feel they have. They have no power over my life. They might have power over a situation, but not over my life.
Got it. What was the most difficult no that you've received? I know there's several, but what was the most difficult no that you received?
The most difficult no as an actor for me is when I didn't do my best. When I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and I got the no, that was the most difficult because I feel that I let the situation down. So there's a movie called, I don't want to say the name of the movie, but I had an audition, call back, it was great, everything. 9/11 happened. And so my callback was pushed. And when I went, I just didn't do my best. I didn't get the call. I didn't get the role. And it could have been a alter of my career possibly, but that was a moment where I realized like every time I perform, it's 100%. So that was it was a learning experience for me, which catapulted me in different aspects. But there's a lot of projects that you get no's from. It's just not now. Nobody asked me to do this. Nobody said, Dennis, you want to be in the entertainment industry? You want to be an actor? You want to be an acting coach? You want to rap? You want to sing? No one asked me. So I can't expect them to want me. I have to if I presented myself, I have to understand that they're not checking for me. I have to check for myself and make myself, presentable.
Amazing. So with that being said, what moment in your life did you realize, I gotta start making some moves for me? I know you have made moves for yourself, but once you start realizing, what, at any moment these people can act funny, let me make sure I start teaching other actors. I do community initiatives. At what point in your life did you realize I need to start focusing on, okay, if this don't work, let me have something where I'm empowering people in the same field that I'm experiencing good and bad in?
Well, it was always there. I was always teaching, even when things were great. I was always empowering people and pouring into people. There was a moment when I said, Hollywood is cool, but I need to move. So I moved to Atlanta. I said, I'm gonna go to Atlanta for 2 years. Just kind of take that, darkness or whatever, or that negativity off my back and go over here. And when I moved to Atlanta, it kind of opened up a different things. I did the TV series Atlanta, a couple episodes of that. And, I started, Bad Day of Rehab, work started coming and projects.
When you first moved?
When I first moved here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I first moved here, I did a movie. Me and Omar J. Dorsey did a project. And it just started, the stigma that was there in Hollywood didn't carry over to Atlanta.
New environment, new season.
New environment, new season, new contacts, new energy. And so I was able to regain my footing, and still coach and teach and do community things. Like I never stopped doing that, but now it was easier, and it was more appreciated. And that negative stench that was in Hollywood, that those, that horde of people or entertainment, executives or gatekeepers, as they call them, that had some, disdain for me coming out against police brutality. They didn't have any power over here. So that was the moment when so then things happened to where I could go back to Hollywood and still go and film, do TV shows and movies.
How was it when you went back?
It was great.
Okay.
Because when I went back, it was when I did the family business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so those people that did the family business, Indy and Trey, they were champions of me before. Because of,
they knew you before all
they
of that.
knew me because of my character. So not because of business wise, but we were cool. So that was like, oh, yeah, come on, Dennis. So that opened up other doors. So, my integrity was the word you used earlier. Integrity was still intact. A lot of times we do things that dent our credibility. And we cry about it, we complain about it, but it's our doing. I was in a situation where it wasn't my doing. I didn't do anything negative. I was just a victim of a bad situation that I stood up against.
Yeah. And I found out, and I'm sure you as well, Dennis, is where when people can't find any dirt on you, they make up dirt.
Yeah.
And they share that dirt. And they get others to subscribe to that dirt. And then that's when they start creating these cliques and these coalitions of people that say, yeah, he did this, or he's speaking out on this, or he's coming against what we stand for, and we're going to. And so I just, I applaud you for keeping your integrity and your character intact. And character is not who you are in front of people. It's who you are when you're away from people. And the fact that you've been willing to continue to stand your ground, even like you said, I wouldn't change anything because you know who you are, you know what you stand for, you didn't do nothing wrong, you didn't deserve. That's the whole story about overlooked. We get stuff we don't even deserve. We didn't hurt nobody. We didn't go out there and say, I'm going to try to hurt their family, hurt their friends, and destroy them. You're literally just doing what God called you to do. And because you're in the right place at the right time, and because you have so much favor, the enemy will come and try to destroy your career. But you never gave up. You never gave up. You kept fighting and you kept pushing. This is awesome, man.
I'm still here.
Come on now. You're still here, man. Let's take a break and we'll come right back. So going back to Notorious movie, of course, we all loved it. We all flocked to the movie theaters to see it. It did well. We enjoyed it. Who didn't love Biggie?
Oh, man,
and who didn't love his songs and things of that nature? How have you been able to handle, since you portrayed Biggie's partner in the movie, how have you been able to handle all of the recent adversities from Diddy and things of that nature?
Diddy? Oh, man. I wasn't expecting that. So my personal aspect of it is I've been knowing Diddy for a long time. Before the whole movie, I've been to his white parties in the Hamptons and in LA. What's ironic is the scene in which me and Biggie in the scene, Jamal Willard, when we were in the interrogation scene, that's the same prison that Diddy is housed right now.
Wow.
It's so apropos. It's just crazy. That's the same place where he's at now. But honestly, I haven't seen with my eyes, I haven't seen Diddy do anything. I just haven't. And I say that because I'm not a curious person. I don't want to know what's up there. I don't want to go up them stairs. I don't want to go in that room. I want to be
snooping.
I'm not curious.
Yeah.
So, there was a particular time I was at Diddy's house, and I think this was 2020, maybe. I think it was 2020, and everybody was at his party. It was the night that Kobe Bryant died, and it was me, Jay-Z, Usher, Mace. It was just everybody there, and it was a weird energy because, it was right before he started talking about Diageo, and so everybody was there to celebrate him, and I was there with my girlfriend and my cousin, and it was never a situation where it was just all freak off or nothing like that.
Right.
And I think they're separate parties.
Right.
I know what it has to be.
Right.
But for me, it's sad because, this is taken down of a legend. But then you also see how Day 26, they're crying. All the grown men crying over the situation, and I feel for them. And I don't know what they went through, but it has to be something really serious and really degrading. And I feel for them. I pray for them.
Yeah.
And whatever Diddy has done, I hope he gets healed from that.
Yeah.
Because he's created and built a lot of people up, but he's also tore some people down. And, there's stories that I know of people that worked with him that was, horrible situations. But then there's also people that I know work with him that was amazing situations.
How do you feel about these major moguls that have had extremely huge careers and helped people, but then at the same time, there's a group of people that have come up and said these things have happened to us, to see them, to see their fall.
Heavy is the crown. And that happens a lot when you're in powerful situations. It happens a lot with ministers and preachers.
Yes.
Because you're giving a gift and favor that is amazing, and it draws people to you. And if you don't have that synergy with God and knowing that, look, I can't use it for bad, I have to use it for good.
Yes.
And because I can take advantage of everybody in this room because I am who I am.
Yeah.
But if I don't do that, then my gifts are greater. And so some people fall victim to that. And also Diddy and the other people, Russell and all this stuff, there's twice as many white counterparts who've done even worse, who've been accosted, been talked about. Kevin Spacey and all these other actors, directors who've done crazy things, but they don't get highlighted. They don't get talked about. So their stuff gets pushed underneath the rug. Right. But as a black person, they're like, you're not supposed to be rich, have this money anyway. You don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So, I don't support anything that Diddy has done negatively. But I'm just blessed that I've never been in a situation to see that or have to be confronted by that.
Yeah. I tell our church all the time, I tell them, I said, power in the wrong hands is abuse. And I God knows I love the church, but we've had some faith leaders that have fallen because they couldn't handle the power, and they begin to manipulate and abuse people. And I just thank God for people like you. You're in places of more notoriety and influence, that you're going to continue to do the right thing with integrity and help people and pray for them and stand with them. I want to ask you this question. What's the biggest lesson you learned from being overlooked?
That in the darkest times, God is still with me.
Jesus.
When I'm desolate, when I'm hurt, when I'm crushed, when I'm overlooked, underappreciated, God is still there. And then I also I learned that the appreciation and being looked at is only important to people that are important to me. So my family and my friends, I'm not overlooked by them. They appreciate me because I appreciate them. They're the only people that matter.
Yes.
That's why I say no, because there's nothing I want to do on camera that I want my mom, my dad, my best friends to be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that. I don't want to be able to go home or not be able to go home and people are like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I stand by everything that I do.
Yes. Yes.
It keeps coming up, integrity. And that's a word that, is very loose in this entertainment industry.
I know you're in classrooms and you coach, and you say you run into somebody, your coach says, listen, I've been overlooked, or I feel like I'm going to run into adversity. What would you tell them?
Keep fighting. Keep going. Because it's a long, this a cliche. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But it's actually true. My story is not over.
Right.
My story is not just beginning, but it's far from over. I have so much more work to do. If I let this little bump in the road stop me, then that's my fault. The worst thing in the world for anybody is to have a desire to do something and die and not do that.
They say the richest place in the world is a cemetery, because that's where people have died. Some people have died with gifts that they've never used. So you're walking amongst an area full of gifted people, and that never had opportunity to express or to show the world how gifted they were.
Wow.
Overlooked is something that's extremely significant to me, because I believe there's a whole generation out there, people that are watching this podcast and replaying, saying, you know what, I'm one.
Yeah.
I'm one that I haven't gotten my credit. They blackballed me. They overlooked me. They rejected me. And most people, Dennis, that overlooked you were jealous of you. They knew you were coming. They knew your potential. They knew your creativity, your ingenuity. They knew what you had to offer. And they were looking for a reason.
Wow.
To tell you or to show you that you weren't qualified. But you've pushed through all that adversity. How have you managed family through all of this? How have they encouraged you through your acting journey?
From them seeing the results of, in spite of everything, I'm still working. I still have movies coming out. I'm still filming. I'm filming in the TV series, network TV series next week. I have 2 movies I'm doing after that. I have a workshop me and Brayley Evans are doing. I'm still here.
Yeah.
And so they see the grit and they see that I'm not taking no for an answer. The only no's is the one that I give you, not that you give me.
Yeah.
And so they appreciate that. They know that it's hard work. They see.
Say that one more time. The only no. Say that one more time.
The only no is the no I give you, not the no you give me. So I don't accept your no, but I can give you a no. And I turn that no into an on.
Yeah.
It's on now.
Yeah. Kathy Hughes, I believe she got 30, 40, 50 no's before she started TV One. And she could have given up. There was a story about her living in the studio with her son. But she got so many no's, had so many opportunities to give up. But she kept on pressing and then built this massive TV One enterprise. And that's just an example that you're not going to allow somebody else's no to determine your future. Because
I just feel that those that have been in those situations need to speak more and need to talk and need to open up the doors. And you think of Tyler Perry, his story, crazy, phenomenal story to where he is now. Oprah Winfrey, her story. You know, there's a lot of people that have been at the bottom of the basement and now they're at the top. And that story, those stories need to be told, and not to just our generation, but to the younger generations, because they have a lack of hope they're desperate. They don't know. They don't see past certain ages. And I was like that when I was certain age. I was like, I'm gonna die when I'm 35.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
I want to die around Jesus' age. You know what I'm saying? I want to be. That's my thing. If I die around the same time Jesus, I'm a martyr. But God has more for me, and there's a lot of life to live. So these kids don't have that. So I try and pour into them, let them know, like, look, just because things are rough now, they can get better. But life is rough. It's not going to get easier. It's not. Every job is hard. But if you know that's what you want to do, there's joy, there's beauty on the other side of pain. And so, I try to give that to kids, let them know that.
Good. What do you have coming up? You just mentioned a few things, but what are some other things you have? You said movies, couple series?
I have a movie coming out called News Cycle.
Okay.
Which is a crazy movie. It's about a news team who they get hijacked. It's crazy. My movie, Careful What You Ask For, coming out. I'm filming a TV series called Dope Unit. Okay. On All Black. Season 3 of Cold and Windy. I'm on that TV series. Wow. We're going to start shooting that pretty soon.
Wow. Busy. You're busy, man.
Yeah.
You're busy. You're busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
Blessed.
Yeah. And blessed. Blessed and busy.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on today, Dennis. I want to speak some things into your life. I believe that your good days will outweigh your bad days. And for every executive, every person that intentionally overlooked you and stepped on you, knowing that you had pure intentions, they'll find their way trying to reconnect with you and apologize to you for how they mistreated you for all the years that you had to suffer. I'm prophesying and declaring over your life right now that this is a redemptive moment in your career where from this day forward, you'll get the calls that you've been praying for, calls to be in films you never thought you'd be in, that God is going to literally take your name around the globe twice. This is a redemptive season for you and your entire family. I declare whatever money you lost, it'll be returned to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together. And because you kept your integrity intact, that you did not give up, you did not quit, despite the fact of how people have mistreated you in the industry, that you're going to rise to the surface. You're a diamond, a blue diamond, and blue diamonds are made out of pressure. They're made out of pressure, but they come out on top. You're rising back to the surface. Whatever setbacks you've experienced in your past few years, God is going to redeem the time, the year that the cankerworm and the caterpillar stole from you. God's going to redeem it. I speak that over your life. You receive that word. The next 10 years of your life will be the best years of your life. Your career's not over. It's just getting started. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I receive all of that. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Bless you, man. Bless you, man. Much love. Much love to you. Bless you. Yeah. Man. Well, that brings us to the close of this very first episode, Overlooked. As you can see, we've all gone through times and tribulations in our life where we feel like we're not being seen, where we feel like our life is taking a downfall. But understand that you're not the only one in that position. And at some point, God's going to bring you back to surface. Despite how people treated you and how they continue to overlook you, I want you to understand that your life is just beginning. Use what they did against you to work for you. This has been an episode of Overlooked. I'll see you next time. God bless you. I am Apostle Dwight Buckner Jr. Make sure you follow me and check this episode out on Apostle Dwight Buckner Jr. on YouTube. Follow me on IG, Facebook, all your social media platforms. I'll see you next time.